No, don't worry. There's no need to adjust your sets, no need to restart your device, no need to refresh your app. Whatever it is, you are seeing this correctly. That's right, it's been a hot minute, but what's going on, everybody? It is the one, the only Q here from Retro Q Gaming. And well, let's just say I'm dipping my toes into the foray of potentially coming back fairly regularly. But we've said this before, but you know what? Let's stay on topic of the video for today, shall we? So, what are we talking about? Well, as of the time of recording this video, Atlas, a few days ago, had announced that Shin Megami Tensei V, the fifth major entry in the series, which is temporarily, or, well, we'll get to that in a minute, currently, let's go with that, exclusive to the Switch, unless you're one of the smart people that plays Ryujinx, or uses Ryujinx. But anyway, they've said that it has just recently passed the 1 million sales mark. Now, of course, I won't even get into the whole thing of how I was right and how I said that it won't outsell Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, you know what? Because I have logic and whatnot as well. But anyway, it's an accomplishment within itself. Naturally, as I predicted, it is the highest selling SMT game, at least in the main series, beating out the previous record holder, which was about 600,000 units with Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS. Now, this is all well and good, but what's the purpose of this and why this video in particular, this topic in particular, why am I coming back and talking about it? Well, other than the fact that it's good to be back, well, let's look at it this way. A few days prior to this announcement, I had just finished SMT5. Now, despite the game having come out at the end of last year, I only started it maybe about 2 months ago, and I finally got around to finishing it. I've been working on it, you know yourself. It took me like 69 hours to finish, giggity. But the point is, it took a while, and it took me it was fresh in my mind. I just had to get into the mindset. I just finished it. And then this announcement comes out, and that's all well and good. Now, the big question here is not just talking about the 1 million sales, but if you have been paying attention, I can't remember if I ever talked about this or not in one of the sparse podcasts I did since then, but Shin Megami Tensei 5 was included on the Nvidia leak, the Nvidia Geforce Now leak. And if you haven't paid attention to any of that, basically TLDR, there was a massive leak from the Nvidia Geforce Now database, including on this list there were massive amounts of games that were either not announced for PC, or were formerly exclusive to other platforms and whatnot. Now, fast forward a few months since that had first happened, and we have got a ton of these games announced and possibly even ported over as well, including stuff like Uncharted, God of War, Kingdom Hearts 4 was on there as well, and I'm not even going to get into the whole potential of of a Half-Life 2 remaster. Woo lad, that was on the list, but I'm not getting in there. But the one I want to bring up in this video is this actually passed me by at the time. I only went back and re-looked at it very recently, but it passed me by at the time that I didn't notice it. But Shin Megami Tensei 5 is on that list, along with one other Atlas game, which sadly is not Persona 5 Royal, but it is Catherine Full Body. But anyway, let's get back and stay on topic, shall we? So, like I said, SMT5, Shin Megami Tensei 5, is listed on this Nvidia GeForce Now leak. And it's looking pretty solid. It's looking pretty likely that the majority, if not all of the games on this list are going to happen at some point. So to me, it's not a question of if Shin Megami Tensei 5 is coming to PC, more like when. Now, my money personally is on a 1-year timed exclusivity deal, so it would not surprise me if we saw SMT5 launch on Steam. When did it come out? Was it November 11th? November 12th? Basically, November, December, whatever it was, of 2022. I'm pretty sure it was something like the 11th or 12th of November 2021, so expect the 11th or 12th of November in 2022. Now, this is all compounded a little bit as well, not just by the obvious inclusion on the GeForce Now leak, which is practically a given at this point, but there's one other one that some people don't talk about, or at least when you factor in, well, it makes a bit more sense. So, In its initial launch state, and I think maybe the 1.01 patch as well, if you went through the code and the game files and all too, you would find reference to, like, when it came to controller inputs, you would have ones for all the different versions of Nintendo controllers, including the Joy-Cons and the Pro controller. But there was also a DualShock 4 in there. Now, why would the DualShock 4 be in there? The DualShock 4 is not officially supported by the Switch, so why would it be in there if it wasn't coming to either PS4, PC, or both? Interesting stuff. But regardless, I just recently finished the game. If you haven't, it was a decent game, decent enough. It wasn't as good as I was expecting. Wasn't a bad game by any means. I mean, it's, let's face it, it's Persona without the heart. Badum tish. You know, somewhat joking, mostly not. But I just also want to reiterate, if you have been waiting to play SMT5, hoping for a PC port, you're in luck. If you have been planning on playing it on the Switch, but are, for some reason, have not got around to it yet, hold off for a potential PS4 or PC port. Simply because the game looks absolutely abysmal on on the Switch. I played it. I tried. I was playing it on the Switch for a bit, and my God, it was a disastrously blurry mess. Textures were extremely low quality. There were several times where I was sitting waiting for textures to pop in, and they didn't pop in because it took me a minute to realize, oh, they actually naturally look this bad. They are loaded, but yeah, it also runs like arse. Yeah, the game is practically entirely in the mid 20s unless you look straight at the ground or straight at the sky. So it's a bit rough. Well, no, let's be real. It's extremely rough. Hopefully, it comes out on. Well, I'm only hoping it comes out on PC. I don't give a shit about the PS4, but let's hope it comes to PC. I may even purchase it again and do another playthrough on there. Maybe I'll even stream the playthrough on PC because, oh, just the idea of the Switch version again. I mean, hell, I completed it on the Switch just because the version of Ryujinx I was using was updated and it broke, and I didn't want to keep going back and forth between different versions and reinstalling and whatnot just for different versions and different games and all. It eventually became too much trouble, so I had to play it on the cancer box, aka the Switch. Anyway, this video has gone on for much longer than I originally anticipated, so I can't even remember my old outro at this point. All I know is, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Damn, it feels good to be back, kind of, somewhat, foray, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I will see everybody on the next video, and something to those lines. Oh, and remember, winners don't play Switch ports.